Oh, what's up, ladies? This is Alex from Mindful Attraction 2.0. You guys are everywhere where I am. You know, I'm walking down the neighborhood. You guys are there creeping in the background, in the shadows and shit. But yeah, in today's video, we're gonna be talking about how to love yourself, how to really love yourself. Because a lot of the times, most of our relationships are there to help us love ourselves vicariously to other people. That's how we love ourselves. We only love ourselves if other people say we're worthy of love. You know, so it's kind of like you trying to tell yourself you're awesome, as opposed to somebody else that you don't know tells you you're awesome. You can feel the difference. There is a huge difference in how people compliment you and whatnot. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to find that self-love and how to really love yourself. Not based on superficial social standards that will always fluctuate depending on how you value yourself, but based on something that cannot be changed or removed or taken away from you, all right? So essentially, one of the main reasons, and again, I'm going to be making another video that's more structured, but I just wanted to make this video to freestyle mode to see how it comes out, okay? But most people love themselves by compartmentalizing themselves, but by observing the good parts about themselves and suppressing the negative parts. They try to highlight the good parts about themselves, which is to say, if they're if they're rich, they'll try to really show that they're rich and try to, as much as possible, to hide how poor they are, all right? And then what tends to happen is that amplification also has a seed of lying. You begin to lie to yourself because you know that that's not just you, but you want to put that out there for the sake of the validation. So most of the time, most people want a good relationship with themselves. That's the thing. You want to love yourself. The problem is that when you love yourself, that means you're going to need to find reasons to love yourself. And the issue with that is that every single time you find a reason, that can easily be taken away from you by other people's interpretation of you, or by simply like time running by. For example, if you love yourself and you derive your love from yourself by how good looking you are, you see yourself in the mirror and you see how fine you really look, and you're like, damn, I look fine. And I'm like, damn, you do look fine, right? But imagine you're looking at yourself in the mirror and then suddenly you get older. What happens? Did you really love yourself, or was that just situational based love? Most people have situational based love. Most people just need to cling on to things to be happy, to really find happiness and love. And that's the issue. It's the desire to cling on to a fact in order to validate yourself and to love yourself. And that's what I'm going to be heading to. Imagine if who you are, if your source of love derives from 5 different sources, from your family, from your good looks. Okay, and let's just say from YouTube channel. Let's just say 3 things, right? Let's say you lose your YouTube channel. Suddenly you love yourself 2/3, right? Let's say you lose your looks. 1/3 you love yourself. And then suddenly you lose your family members. What's left? Nothing. But let me ask you this. Are you still there? You see, in order to love yourself, you got to let go of, I'm getting deeper now. In order to love yourself, you have to let go of the grasp that you have onto things. For example, a lot of people don't know that they're holding on to the problem. It's kind of like when you're holding on to a mic. If you hold on to that mic long enough for a long time, you're not going to notice that you're putting effort. And it's going to take effort to let go of the mic. Like when you're used to holding on to things, it takes effort to let go. It's very similar to when you're in an argument. When your position is threatened, you hold on to that argument even more, even stronger, to the point where you become biased to your own opinions. So what tends to happen is that when you let go of your perceptions through experiencing pain, because that's what tends to happen, the only way you become enlightened is through feeling pain. The best way to wake up from a dream is to have a nightmare. When you let go, there's an influx of relaxation. Your body, you feel a flow of peace and relaxation, right? Because literally, you let go, you're holding on, and you let go, and there's relaxation, right? That relaxation is what you experience when you're able to let go. For example, it's kind of like the relaxation that you experience when you're in traffic and you're going to work, right? And you're going to work and you know that you're late and you're resisting it, as opposed to going to work knowing that you're late and realizing that there's nothing you can do about it and say, you know what, fuck it. Like that. Fuck it is the relaxation you experience. Now, the relaxation you experience in yourself when it comes to love is not letting go, but rather is accepting the good and the bad parts about yourself and seeing it for what it is, which is just an illusion, a perception in your field of consciousness. So the way you got to do this is this. I want you to do this for yourself. Try to find yourself right now, right? Think about it. You're saying that you are, when you say you hate yourself or you love yourself, who is the self that you're pointing to? You cannot look at for example, if you try to look at the emotion that you feel for yourself, you begin to notice that those emotions are just physical sensation. When you begin to look at the thoughts, at the concept of who you are, like me, you begin to see that the concept is just a thought. a little fragment of thoughts happening in your brain. So you can't really point to yourself when you say, I love myself. You can't really point to yourself. You can only point to your ego. You can only point to the contents of your mind. But then who are you? You're none of that. Once you notice that you're nowhere to be found inside of your consciousness, you begin to realize that you're not the contents of your consciousness, but rather you are the consciousness itself. And suddenly, when you're able to do that, it's the weirdest realization, but suddenly you feel that peace inside of you. And it's not even about loving yourself. It's about being at peace with yourself. Being at peace with the good and the bad. And that comes through observing every aspect of yourself, and particularly the aspects of yourself that you're suppressing. You see what I'm saying? So, on a continual basis, I want you to ask yourself, am I trying to feel better at this moment? Every single time you hate yourself, that you experience an emotion of hate towards yourself, is your desire to love yourself, because the feeling of hate is undesirable. So what you're really trying to do is to freely just find peace within yourself, and you cannot find it. So what you have to do then, if you're trying to find peace, stop trying to find peace. If you're trying to love yourself, stop trying to love yourself, because when you're trying to love yourself, you're trying to look for things, and those things will change. So if you're trying to love yourself by looking better, by dressing better, fine, but that's not going to really last, because one day you're going to get old as fuck. It's just going to happen. So what are you going to do then? What you have to realize is you're none of those things. None of that thing is going to find you happiness. It's going to find you love. But rather, the more you look deeper into that, the more you try to find yourself in things, like the content of your mind, the more unhappy you're going to become. It's just how it is. It's like trying to fight fire with fire. So what you have to do is practice presence. Notice the parts of yourself that you hide. Notice the parts of yourself that you compartmentalize. Notice yourself trying to give off an impression. Notice yourself trying to feel better. Notice yourself hating yourself. Simply notice the object of your awareness, or trying to find love and happiness. Because what I really want you to do is not to really love yourself, but rather to notice yourself trying to love yourself. Because when you begin to become the awareness, think about this. You are the awareness. The awareness is what encompasses every aspect of yourself. But the problem is that most people become laser focused and only compartmentalize themselves on the things that they want, and they neglect the other parts of themselves that are part of who they are. And so what tends to happen is that those parts that they're trying to neglect screams even more in the form of pain. And the screaming of the parts that you suppress and comes in the form of pain, your desire to find happiness in other people's validation. So to love yourself, you got to stop loving yourself. To love yourself, you got to begin to observe the parts in yourself that you suppressing. To love yourself, you got to begin to observe the judgment. It's not to change yourself. It's to simply notice yourself loving and hating yourself. Because you cannot really love yourself. You can only find peace with yourself. And the best way to find peace is to observe every aspect of yourself. That's what loving yourself is. Hating yourself is suppressing the different aspects of yourself. Loving yourself loving yourself in terms of what I'm talking about is not finding one aspect and highlighting it, but rather seeing all the aspects of yourself and seeing them for where they are. And not judging the good parts and the bad parts, but rather allowing all of those parts to be there in one complete whole. And that comes through presence, the practice of mindfulness. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be doing a more detailed and more elaborate video that's more structured. I just wanted to make this video to see how it comes out if I freestyle it. But generally speaking, I'll be honest with you, I love myself. But there are times when I do suppress myself. There are times when I try to not notice certain parts of myself. There are times that I judge myself. There are times when I say, fuck you. There's times I say, like, piece of shit, god damn, what the fuck you did that? You're so stupid. Like, those things arise. To say that they don't arise is not human. To say that they don't arise is kind of stupid. So what you have to do is just become aware of it. You got to have compassion with your body. She's beautiful. You got to have compassion with yourself. Compassion with the negative aspects of yourself. Because you got to realize you're trying to be happy. Your brain is trying to make you happy. And you got to have compassion with yourself, man. Yeah, it's not easy loving yourself. It's not easy. But you have to have compassion for yourself, failing at loving yourself. Your body's trying to do the best it can, but it's only limited to a certain aspect. There's the consciousness, the electricity behind every electronic, the awareness behind the experience that would enable you to love yourself, not through picking certain aspects, but by becoming aware of all of those things that you're trying to suppress and bringing them out in full consciousness. I know it sounds so new agey and shit, but this worked. I'm telling you, man. Anyway, this is Alex from mindfulattraction.org, and take care and have a good day. Bye-bye. Nah, man, get out of here. I'm not leaving, man. Have a good day. I gotta take away the. I was like, those like outros where they walk away and shit like Obama. Oh man. All right, I'm taking the thing off. I'm still here though. Don't think the show's done. I'm here. All right, take care, guys. Bye bye.